Today, we begin a mini-series that discusses the policies of Donald Trump, which seem to be a subtle attack on black identity and the black race. Donald Trump has often proclaimed that he is not racist, despite his many utterances and actions over the years that say otherwise. The list of his racist actions are exhaustive and include the hiring and operational practices of his real estate company over the years in New York and around the US. It also includes his call for the death penalty for the 5 black and Latino teenagers accused of raping a white woman in Central Park, famously called the Central Park 5, in 2019, who were later found innocent. During the last presidential elections, Donald Trump got a much higher chunk of the black vote than expected, to the surprise of many. Blacks who voted for Trump have claimed that the Democratic Party did not do enough to reach out to black voters as a reason prior to the 2024 elections. Also, they have claimed that immigrants have been getting the jobs that should have gone to low-income black workers, and so support Donald Trump's immigration policies. In today's episode, we discuss the topic of African culture and history, and how Donald Trump's recent policy preventing the African Museum of Natural History from displaying certain artifacts in the museum seem tailored at trying to rewrite Black American history. Hi, I am Mark Mbetu reporting for Sahara Diaspora News. In a quiet corner of Washington, D.C., the African Museum of Natural History has stood as more than just a building. It has been a mirror. Black children who have visited the museum have pressed their palms against glass cases, holding the shackles of enslaved ancestors and the crowns of pre-colonial kings, whispering, "This is where I come from." Now Trump calls it divisive, issuing an executive order to remove what he calls improper ideology from Smithsonian museums. But what is America without the truth of how it was built? The museum's halls have for so long echoed with the resilience of Harriet Tubman and the genius of Imhotep. Soon, they may echo only silence or a doctored history with gaps that may get filled with falsehoods and hearsays. For Africans in the diaspora who left home in search of opportunity and yearning for the stories that shaped them, within those walls are echoes of ancestors, kingdoms, struggles, and victories. It is one of the few places in America where an African immigrant can walk in with their child and say, "That is who we are," without apology. But now, with Donald Trump's executive order, that mirror is under threat of being shattered. For many Black Americans, the museum helps to tell a different narrative of African heritage, different from those usually told through the lens of slavery alone. It holds space for validation, glory, and even pride, from Timbuktu's libraries to the art of the Ife Kingdom. Erasing this is not just cutting cultural funding, it's a dismantling of Black American history and the process of healing. It's telling every child who wandered those halls in awe that their roots don't deserve a place on American soil. Executive orders do not erase history, and I think we as a culture have to acknowledge our differences. Our differences make us stronger, said Mina Garrett Scott from Herndon, Virginia. Africans in the diaspora already fight daily battles to be seen, to be heard, to belong. The museum has been a bridge, a connection between where they came from and where they are presently. It tells the story of how Blacks rose in America, how they resisted racism and oppression, and how they are still here sustaining the fight. To take that away is to push Blacks further into invisibility. The past, once erased, makes the future easier to manipulate. And that's what this is. Not just politics, but a calculated attempt to make Black history optional. As the museum begins to comply with Donald Trump's order with the rumored start of removal of some artifacts and exhibit from the museum, it is pretty much signaling that Black America's cries to be heard can once again be silenced. Despite Donald Trump's efforts, Blacks will continue to carry generations of resilience in their blood. If he even decides to pull down the museum, another will eventually be built, as he can only rule for as long as America keeps him. Thanks for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe. Also, please leave a comment letting us know what you think about Donald Trump's policy and how relevant you think museums are in preserving American history. See you in the next episode.